I'm so excited to introduce my fabulous guest today, Hayley Felton, an intuitive healer specialising in helping singles find love. Hayley is also an artist, speaker, and soul-preneur. I love that. And holds a Bachelor of Science degree in psychology. Hayley is also a qualified Atlantean Healing Master, an advanced soul plan practitioner, a soul transformation therapy practitioner, as well as a spiritual life coach. Today, Hayley will be sharing her insights and wisdom on what it means to heal our hearts and how she empowers singles to align to love and become magnetic to the soulmate relationship they desire. Welcome to the show, Hayley.
Oh, hi, Tuğçe. Thanks so much for having me. Great to see you.
I'm so excited that you're here. So
Oh,
excited.
yeah, it'll be
Before we
fun.
get going and we go into the questions and all the exciting stuff at work that you do, is there anything that you'd like to share with us?
Yeah, so I've actually got a beautiful a deck of cards, and they're called the Secret Language of Light deck, and they're by Denise Jarvine, and they're essentially transmissions from our soul. So they're really beautiful messages, intuitive messages. So it'd be nice, I thought, just to draw a card for and see what comes up for everyone. So I will shuffle.
Love it. Thank you.
That's all right. And I'm just going to set the intention that the message that comes through is for the highest good and grace of anyone that tunes in, and whether they're here live or watching at another point in time. So, and it's yes, of the highest good and grace. So, message for our hearts, really, I think. Let's have a look and see what comes up. Oh, this is interesting. So this is light beings. Okay, and it's a beautiful sort of like space type image. Yeah, and there's the planet Earth, and there's all different the galaxies, and it's space essentially. So what this is really, and actually, if I look more closely, there's a beautiful face in the sort of starlight as well in the background. And to me, can you see that?
Yes, you can see it. Definitely, it's beautiful.
Yeah. So to me, that's sort of showing us that we're all made of the same stuff as everyone else. We're all made of the stars essentially. We're all connected to each other. We're not just a human. We're not just human beings. We are spiritual light beings in physical form. So this really message is really helping everyone recognize they are more than just what they see and feel in their human body. We are much greater and more magnificent than we could really imagine. So we're light beings, and we have huge potential power within each of us. We're our own real mini universes within. So this really is showing us that we are so much more than we might think we are on the surface. And yeah, we are magnificent light beings that have innate power and wisdom.
I love that. And for the listeners who can't see, so there is that face on the side with above the head, there's like a universe, so the galaxy, and then there's a planet Earth and other stars and planets all connect, and you can see, and it's just a beautiful visual, isn't it? That connectivity. Yeah, we're all light beings, we're all connected.
Yeah,
I think that's a beautiful message for today, especially that, this show is called Light Conversations. So
exactly, it couldn't be more perfect, could it really?
Absolutely. I love the synchronicities already started. That's amazing. So yeah, light, we are light beings. We're all, it should be light and fun as well, right? Life.
Exactly, yeah. And I think when we can bring lightness to things in general, if we can try and remind ourselves that life doesn't have to always be so serious, then I think we can live more in alignment to who we are as well when we try and remember that. So it's easy to forget that though.
Yes, and I'm guilty. It's we do forget, and we get caught up in our human being kind of daily modes. And I guess it's when we bring our awareness and that kind of connection back, and that breath, I guess, isn't it? When we take that breath and remind ourselves that to just be centered and to ground ourselves and remember the joy.
Definitely.
Yeah. Brilliant. Well, thank you for sharing that, Hayley. That was a beautiful card, and I think that's sets the tone as well for our conversation. So
you're welcome, Tuğçe.
when you're growing up, What gifts did you discover that you had, and had you realised it was a gift?
Well, when I was a child growing up, I saw sort of spiritual beings externally and internally. So I once, when I was probably about 10, and I was playing the piano, not very well, I might add. I made up this song, and it was like it sounds a bit mad, but it was like a song. It was like a song to God, even though I wasn't particularly religious or anything like that. And when I looked to my left, there was this man. It was like I saw this beautiful, like, well, it was a man really, all dressed in white, but he disappeared, and I could see him like a physical person. It was like very real. Wow. But then he disappeared. So that was one instance. And then before I would go to sleep, often I would see lots of images with my eyes closed. I would see lots of images, past, present, future, looked like morphing into each other. But I was very consciously aware. So a bit like dream type images, but sometimes clearer, sometimes more dreamlike. But I would just be aware of it and watch them, you know. And I didn't realise that not everyone had that, you know. Right. So it was only until as an adult in my I think I was about 30 or so, early 30s, that I realised that is actually a form of clairvoyance or clear sight, which is a psychic spiritual gift.
Wow. So that was, so when you were a child, you're just having these, you just thought it was normal. Everyone has this kind of movie screen image, I guess, of all these events taking place. Were they events, so there were events that were happening or had happened in this life or previous past lives or future lives?
When I was a kid, I didn't really know what they were, right. You know, so I would just watch them. But I think they weren't necessarily related to my past, but I think it was like conscious, you know, collective consciousness energy. Right. So it was me picking up on themes of different things, probably as well, my own stuff as well. Yeah. But because I didn't really pay attention to it as such, I couldn't really relate a specific example to say, oh, this related to my life as a kid, that, you know, or I didn't really link it together. But I do have that, I do still have that skill. I realised when I started doing the Atlantean healing, that skill came through to me, and I would be able to relay information to clients and also myself if I did self-healing. So that clairvoyant gift would come through and marry up with when I used the Atlantean healing. So then I sort of really realised it was a gift.
Was it still there during your teens and your 20s when you were growing up? Or was it something you maybe, because of the, I guess, the slightly woo-woo-ness, you sort of like, oh, okay, let's kind of maybe hide it a little bit? And was it only when you started doing the healing that it started coming through again more powerfully?
Yeah, it wasn't really, I think it did seem to go away, but I don't feel like it was because of ridicule or I was scared of what people would say, because I just didn't mention it to anyone because I thought it was a normal thing.
Okay.
So I don't know why it wasn't as prevalent. It would come up and it would be there sometimes and not so much, and then it sort of was, I think it was there really to show me that well, I think really I had it because when I do the healing now, it was so natural to me to have that come through to me. So in a way, it was like, because it was so natural, as something I'd always had, it didn't feel weird or scary. Yeah. So it helped me as a healer be more confident in that sense. Really,
that makes sense.
Yeah,
definitely. So you hold a Bachelor's of Science degree in psychology, which is quite, I guess, the rational, quite logical, scientific sort of brain. But did you think you'd go down the healing and spirituality route at all?
It wasn't something I honestly thought I would be doing. It wasn't like, it wasn't on my career path list. So, you know, but I mean, at uni as well, I was always fascinated with the paranormal, because I have had these spiritual things happen to, well, the vision of the man, for example. I'd had certain things, but because my mum had really bad experiences to do with the church, I was actually very much put off by anything to do with religion and spirituality, although I was still curious about it. And in my final year experiment at uni, I actually went into the field of parapsychology, which looks into whether the paranormal is true or not. And I did an experiment about handedness, so the dogmaticness of handedness and the correlation between whether people believed in the paranormal or not. And I was sort of trying to disprove it in a way.
Right.
I mean, I must say my results didn't actually show conclusive evidence for either way, because I really didn't do my homework properly when I was in my early 20s, or however old I was. I wasn't, yes, I wasn't very committed to the as I could have been.
Yeah.
But yeah, so.
I know what you mean. No, definitely. No, we have other things kind of interesting, right, at that stage of life.
Exactly.
But that's so interesting that you.
Parties.
Yeah. I know, the good old parties or an experiment. I know what I would have chosen. But that's so exciting that actually how you, even back then, that sort of that it was coming through, wasn't it? It was still trying to find its way through to you.
Definitely.
To choose that paranormal side of it within your psychology dissertation or experiment. That's so interesting. So then what happened then past uni? Well, I know you won a reality TV program at some point.
Oh God, yeah. I've done a few different things. So I've done lots of different office jobs in different industries, you know, mainly for the money, and I've always kept my interests alive with the things that I've been passionate about. So I've sold my artwork and done exhibitions, for example, and I also pursued, I was trying to do be a presenter, TV presenter for quite a long time, and I did do lots of bits and pieces of TV, but mainly I did a lot of stuff with charities and things like that. But I also I auditioned for a reality TV show called Around the World in 80 Days, and it was on wedding TV. And luckily it wasn't on mainstream TV like Love Island or anything, because I probably would have been mortified now. It probably did me a favour that it wasn't sort of so well known. But I ended up winning that reality show. And that was quite a while. That was a long time ago now, actually. But yeah, everything, it was around really my pursuit of love, I think, really, that's led me to doing what I do now. And all these other sort of bits and pieces that I've done, sort of I can see how they're all interwoven into the tapestry and they link together.
Yeah, that's so interesting. It's Wedding TV was the channel, and it was trying to find love in around the world. So it's incredible how that now the work that you do.
I know.
And you had no idea at the time, I assume?
No, I mean, I didn't know I would be doing this work then. No, not in a million years. I thought I was I thought I was good at dating, but I just didn't meet the right person. So possibly not quite as good at dating as I thought, but yeah.
Yeah. And was that then what led you to become a high-end matchmaker as well? Because that's something else that you sort of worked in, wasn't it?
Yeah, I did that for a little while, and that was after I'd done the reality show. And I thought, because I had a lot of experience, you know, on dates as well, I could give people advice about dating and things, and also a psychology background. But yeah, I actually didn't stay in that career for very long, because I actually didn't find it very genuine, the actual industry. And I found that the company that I was working for, they didn't actually have, you know, the ratio of men to women on the books wasn't really what it should have been. And I couldn't continue to, you know, sign people up to this dating agency when I knew really that there weren't the right caliber of people on there. So I really didn't stay there for very long. It was something I tried out, but it didn't fit right with me in ethically with me. And I'm sure there are other companies that are very ethical in the way they behave, but this company I found myself in, I didn't feel it was.
Okay. We shan't ask the name of this area of love is there for you. It's something that you're being drawn into, you're pulled into, and you're looking for love. What synchronistic event then took place in your life that made you decide to take action?
Yes, so I was actually, this is many years ago now, I think it's over 10 years ago, and I was searching for, on the internet, I Googled how to find your husband, as you do. And this website popped up, and it was, and it led me through to another website, and it was a lady called Blair Allison who lived in Florida, and she said she called herself the Love Guru. And she said she could help you find love a more effortless way. And I mean, I didn't even know what healing was at this point in time. I honestly didn't know or understand. You know, I hadn't been in that world at all. But essentially, she was a heart healer. And I emailed her, and I just felt like I needed to contact her. So I emailed her, and she replied, and she happened to be in London for 2 weeks.
Amazing.
I know, and she's considering she lived in Florida, you know.
Wow.
So I actually met up with her, and we had our first session in a pub in Blackfriars, of all places. Because obviously she didn't have an office or anything, you know. She was just in London for a couple of weeks. Yeah. So and then I proceeded to have sort of a few months of spiritual heart healing with her distantly. Wow. And that was really the catalyst for me. In many ways, in awakening my spiritual gifts. Yeah, so it was quite remarkable, really.
That is amazing. That is definitely your example of, you know, synchronicity happening, right? When someone lives in Florida and they happen to be there at that point in your life when you're like in the same place. That's incredible.
I know.
So you kind of know you've got to go for it, right?
Yeah, definitely.
When that takes place. So how did working with the Love Guru, I forget a name that you called it, the Love Guru, wasn't it? How did that then trigger your gifts?
Yeah, so the first thing, well, there were two main things that started to happen. So I started to really research into more spiritual topics and things. Like, it became really interesting to me, and I researched about angels, which I previously thought was absolutely ridiculous. The notion of anything that could, you know, I don't know, I just thought it was a bit silly. But I started to be able to feel energies, and my guardian angel, I started to have a connection. I call it a him, but they don't really have a gender as such. And I started to be able to feel the energy of my guardian angel on the side of my face here. It's like an electricity. And yeah, so I started to so that's the form of clairsentience, which is a clear feeling, which is a spiritual gift. So that started to develop for me. And then I also the clairvoyance came back quite, you know, it sort of just came into the forefront. So I would literally, it was like I would ask a question, and then a video almost would play in my mind very clearly as to, you know, the answer or the essence of what I was asking for. So it was really like it kick-started, it reawakened me and my interest in spirituality, essentially.
That's incredible. The fact that it's not just the clairvoyance, the visual, the seeing of it, but also the clairsentience. Was this the start of your Atlantean healing process?
Yeah, so after when I finished the heart healing with Blair, the Love Guru, I then started sort of looking at, so I felt more open to love at that point, but I realised there was still work to do. And I then found a course, the Atlantean Healing course, and I just knew it was in one of the spiritual shops in Covent Garden, and like a flyer, and I saw it, and I thought, I have to do that. I have to do it. And it was actually the last course that they did in London as well. They haven't done one since, actually by the founder, so to speak, although there is some other people now that do it in a different part of the country. So it was quite, so I did that, and yeah, really that was probably the best thing I ever did in my life, I would say, the Atlantean healing, because it felt so natural to me, and I was able to then heal myself as well as help other people, really, in different areas. And then it's evolved into really helping others heal their hearts as well.
Amazing. How is Atlantean healing different from other energy healing like Reiki? I'm asking that question because I'm not sure if all the listeners would have heard of Atlantean healing. I think that's something I hadn't previously really heard of.
Yeah, so thanks for asking that, because I get asked that a lot actually. So it's a form of energy healing, which is, and Reiki and other healings like Rahani, Reiki, they're all energy healing. So it's just that different healing energies, they operate at different rates of vibration. So you could say, for example, Reiki was a pink ray, for example. If you could see the vibrational ray, potentially Atlantean healing would be a different coloured ray, like a purple ray. So it's just a different vibrational frequency. But the origin of the healing that I use was actually from the times of Atlantis. Some people believe it's a mythical place. Other people, I know that it was a place in ancient times, and they used to have healing temples there, these beautiful healing temples, and that was the energy that they would use, the healing energy they would use in those temples. So it's a chakra based, so like Reiki it is based on the chakras or energy or metaphysical energy centers or wheels that are located at various parts of the body, that when we apply the energy healing to them, we can balance those energy centers. And it's an angelic healing as well. So so the angels of Atlantis are working with me when I'm using that healing. So I'm not alone, so to speak, when I'm doing this energy work.
Brilliant. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you, Hayley. That's really helpful for us to understand, I think.
You're welcome.
So when you were going through this process and healing, were you healing yourself at this stage, or were you now be able to help others?
But to start off with, it was very much I did start to help, heal do healing for friends and family, and myself. And then I progressed on to gain clients, and that sort of thing, which I've been doing, helping clients for some time, many years now. But to start with, it was really about healing myself, and it was through the Atlantean healing actually that I managed to heal a huge past life issue around relationships, which I feel was the final sort of thing that was massively holding me back around being able to commit to a long-term relationship.
Would you be able to share that?
Yeah, sure. So it was actually a past life around where I was. It was sort of Victorian era, I think. It was Victorian era, and I was in a carriage. I could see myself in this carriage and very well dressed, and but I was being sick, and I knew, and I had an awareness that actually I was dying in this life. And then I was shown sort of symbolism around poison, and I just knew then, I had a clear knowing or clear cognizant awareness that this husband that I was married to in this life had poisoned me, and which is sounds a bit out there, and it was, but it was very clear to me in the healing that was what was going on. And I just cleared it with the healing, and it was like the awareness had to come. But what I would say as well, after about 3 days, up to 3 or 4 days after that healing, it was like I was mourning myself in this other life. So I felt very sad. It was really, it was very unexpected. I didn't expect that to come up, and I didn't expect that response, or but I know now that it was really necessary for me to be able to move forwards, and that was sort of, I feel, the last piece of the jigsaw before I was able to really move forwards towards a committed soulmate relationship.
Wow, that is an incredible story. I think that's quite powerful, and I think if that's what healing can help us do, especially this is an area that it sounds like an area in your life that you were experiencing a lot of challenge, and then to clear that and be able to move forward, that's amazing, and now share that gift, I guess, with others. So was that then the incentive then, which kind of what I want to help other people now?
Yeah, I mean, that wasn't instantly though. I mean, I'd been with Dave for quite a long time before I actually started to do my, developed my Line to Love program. I was more focused around life purpose, really, before that. But it was sort of suddenly dawning on me, and I went, why am I not doing this for other, specifically around the heart? And then I actually felt more lit up. I felt more excited. Even more about my work when it was actually connected around that, because it was such a challenge for me. And I can empathize with people as well, because I know how it feels when you feel like there's just one brick wall after another when it comes to a relationship. So yeah, it was sort of a gradual a realization, I guess, that that's what I would focus on.
I just think it's so fascinating, this whole whether people believe in past lives or they don't. And I think there's this, whether we are, if we're energetic beings, right, we are carrying energy can't be destroyed. So whatever happens to our soul, or whatever we want to call it, our spirits, if it's carrying like levels, I guess, as we go through different lifetimes and incarnations. It's amazing about having to kind of that work that we can do around that to help ourselves, to help heal and to move forward, I guess. And you go, right, learn that lesson. We all talk about our lessons, don't we? And then help us move forward. I know you also do art. You mentioned that earlier, and you sell art and you do exhibitions. And how has that, is that part of the business and the work that you do?
It goes in waves, I guess. So in the past, I've merged my art interest with the life purpose work. So for clients I've put on small group art workshops, and I helped people create a piece of artwork that represents their soul's plan or life purpose. So it becomes like a visual cue to help people keep on track in this life. So that's one area that I was doing. I've sort of, because there's been a lot of things going on in my life at the moment, so that's sort of not something I'm doing at the moment currently, but that's something I really enjoyed doing that. And that was really powerful. And I'm currently doing a piece of artwork at the moment, but it's more for a healing purpose for me. It's like a personal piece of art for me, really, and I find it really therapeutic artwork. And I've also set the intention when I'm doing the artwork to actually, for that piece as well, to be healing for other people to look at. So I sort of connect I'm very conscious in the connection when I'm doing the art. So it's very different to how I did art years ago before I was a healer. So I now connect at heart level. I actually set the intention that this piece of art will be healing for people. And might sound a bit mad, but I also put healing on the canvas. I transmit that to the canvas before I begin, and sometimes afterwards as well. So and set the intention that the healing is going to be infused with the painting.
I love that. That's amazing. That's really beautiful. It really is. And I encourage listeners and viewers to go onto your website. We'll put your website details at the end. We'll talk about the website details at the end of the conversation, and also I'll put it on the end of on the post, on the notes. But you've got some beautiful artwork on there, so if people want to kind of have a look at the stuff that you do as well, just to it's just inspiring as well, isn't it, to look at art. I do love looking at it. So I guess with the artworks, as part of the therapy and the healing, and I think I recently listened to a podcast, I think that was around a doctor who I think used to help cancer patients, young in pediatrician cancer oncologist, and he used to be a real advocate of whether it's maybe not art so much, but more drawing and getting the kids to draw. And there's that real link with therapy and art and healing, isn't there? And I think in a medical sense as well, which I thought was absolutely beautiful. And he would recognize, I think, by looking at a picture, an image, whether the child should be going into theatre or whether he should be doing I guess going into more chemo, if the kid, he would look at the pictures and a certain color or certain image would be like, right, this child's not ready, and he would use that as cues. Yeah, so I thought that was really interesting, especially in the science as well, in the medical world as well. I think this doctor's like 85 or something as well, so he's been around a long time. And
so he obviously has been there, done it, bought the t-shirt in his industry by the sounds of it, and he knows what he's doing. So
yeah, no, definitely. I wanted to ask you, it's something that it's a conversation that I think we might have had before previously on, but around putting ourselves as our highest authority. Can you explain to viewers why we should be doing that, or listeners, why we should be doing that?
Yeah, so I think there's always a place for a teacher or someone, a mentor to be, or a coach, or someone that's there to guide us in our lives, because we're not meant to be in this life obviously alone and isolated and have to work everything out ourselves. So I think it's healthy to seek help when we need it, and when we feel like we can't overcome something or we need some support, whether it is a counsellor, a spiritual healer, or a doctor, whatever it is. I think there are the times in our life where we do need that help and assistance. But I think what is can get out of balance is when people can rely on someone else's authority or an opinion well over and above their own judgment, and I think in that sense people can give their power away to someone else. And especially when we're looking at our belief systems and things, I think it's really important to follow our hearts and our own wisdom, because someone else's truth is not your truth necessarily. And so for example, if we're going to look at the theme of religion, I don't know, that's just come to me now. So there's all these different religions in the world, like so many different religions, aren't there? We could say spirituality is a type of religion as well. So there's all these different schools of thought essentially, but you have to go with what you feel is right for you, and we would never say that one is wrong compared to another. It's just what resonates more with one person than another. So I think if someone is ever trying to coerce you into something that fits their belief system but it doesn't fit yours, then it doesn't mean that you're wrong and they're right. We really need to follow our own truth, because otherwise we can go off on a tangent that isn't really us, if we're allowing other people to have that level of influence on us. So I think, always seek help when we need it, but know essentially that we are our own gurus. We know ourselves more than anyone else, essentially, and really the buck stops with us in a way, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. I think what you said there was really interesting. It's about giving our power. When we give our power away, we ourselves know ourselves best. And I think it's kind of that to rebalance ourselves and to tap into that. And so often it's our choice. It's, remember, we are always at choice, and we need to take that power. And it's so often we do find ourselves, we've all been guilty of relying on someone else that knows better. But like you say, it's kind of coming back to who am I, or your authentic self, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think it's great to go and see psychics for guidance and that sort of thing. But I think as well, people need to remember that as someone that's psychic that maybe says they can look into the future. I mean, we've all got psychic abilities ourselves, and any psychic is only ever really reading us in that moment and our current vibration. So they're picking up on where things might lead if we stayed as we are in our current vibration. But we can change our course, so things don't always necessarily end up with where they might be seeing it from that point in time. So I think it's important not to hang on every word of a psychic as well, because we can change things with our free will.
That's so interesting that you mentioned that actually when we see someone, a psychic, it's at that current vibration. And you're absolutely right. We are often changing the more we change. Our growth and expansion allows us to operate at a different vibrational level, doesn't it?
Definitely.
So that's really good. Good advice for people who are looking for, if they're looking at visiting psychics, to kind of remember that. What can you do, or is there anything you can tell us that we can do to remind ourselves to trust ourself more, to kind of come back to that question of what's right for me?
Yeah, I think it's actually recognizing the patterns. It's starting to recognize patterns where we have acted on our intuition in the past. And I think a really good exercise is actually to simply just get a notebook and just ask yourself, what worked out well when I, acted upon my intuition? Just have a little think, just get quiet, and you might just think of one example to start with. And then you might write one down, and then you might find that, you've got a whole list before you know it of all these different things that have worked out really well when you listen to your intuition. And then on the other hand, you could also say, well, when I didn't listen to my intuition, or when I ignored it, what happened? And often it's a very different scenario. And I mean, even though I do spiritual work and I'm, a spiritual teacher, etc., I'm not perfect, and none of us are. And we all make mistakes and don't always follow our intuition. And we can look back and with hindsight go, I knew I shouldn't have done X, Y, Z, because, and my intuition was really roaring at me to tell me to do something else. But a lot of the time our ego can get in the way, and because we want something badly, or where there's a fear about something. If we don't do something in the logical way, that we're not going to get to where we want, and we ignore the sometimes intuitive messages that aren't as logical as our ego or our mind as such. So I think if we just take some time out to look at the patterns of where and when we didn't listen to our intuition, we'll actually be able to say, okay, I'm going to make a conscious choice now to actually take action on my intuitive impulses even more, or just take a moment to not act quite as impulsively and just have a little feel in and tune in to what it is that I feel my gut or my heart is telling me.
I love how you intuitively started speaking about the next questions I was about to ask, which was about intuition. I thought that was beautiful. And it's so true. When you talk about writing, I mean, I could tell you so many examples of myself of where I didn't listen to my intuition, and I liken it to walking in mud, and it's getting stuck in like treacle. You're kind of, and then you're trying to push through, but it's like it's not flowing.
Definitely.
So yeah, thank you. I think that was a really, that intuition is really important, that we've got to keep remember to listen to, and yes, let's stop ignoring it.
That's our biggest gift, really, our intuition, to help us navigate through life. And if we're constantly ignoring it, we shouldn't be surprised that we end up somewhere that we might not particularly want to be. So it's really a form of loving ourselves more, giving ourselves that space to listen to our intuition, and really, which is what our hearts are telling us.
That more self-compassion and self-love, isn't there, in that? I mean, I know from not listening to my intuition, I got very sick, and I was and it, the more you leave it, the more you kind of ignore certain signs your body's trying to tell you, right? It can be quite detrimental to our health sometimes. Can I ask you who Blue Marsden is, and what impact Blue had on your life?
Yeah, sure. Blue Marsden, he runs the Holistic Healing College in London, and he was my soul plan teacher. So he delivers teaching around this beautiful system called Soul Plan, which is a life purpose system essentially, and it's all connected with the vibration of our birth name. And so our birth name can actually help draw in different experiences that our soul wanted us to experience in this life. Sounds a little bit woo-woo, but I've been doing this work for quite some time now, and really it always surprises me at how accurate it is for people. So I would say that the main thing I would say that Blue brought into my life was more of an understanding around that we planned a lot of things before we get here on this earth plane, that actually everything is not everything, but we plan as a soul a lot of different events and elements and the people that we're going to meet and the scenarios here, so that we can experience the most soul growth as a human, as a spiritual being in human form in this particular life. So I think it's sort of, yeah, he showed me the perfection, I guess, of our lives, really. And when we think things are going wrong, really they're not, they're lessons. They're life lessons, and they're here to have, they're gifts really in disguise, and we have got the tools within us to overcome them as well. And often without the challenges we wouldn't really value certain aspects of our life, and we wouldn't learn what we came here to learn. So yeah, it really showed me the perfection of our lives, including the stuff that we don't necessarily view as perfect.
The imperfections behind the perfections.
Yes.
That's brilliant. I love that. I've not thought of it that way at all before, having, you know, the thinking of starting the journey and looking, you know, going, right, this is what I want to experience, and the lessons, like you say, you know, all these amazing tools in your teaching basket. You know, you've got your soul plan, your Atlantic healing, your spiritual life purpose coaching. I know that you've recently launched your Align to Love program. Is this the next thing that you're working on?
Yeah, so I launched that a little while ago, and it's an online program essentially. Well, I've been doing the work in person for quite some time, so I wanted to create a program that people could do from the comfort of their own home. They could learn, heal, really empower themselves essentially, so they're ready for a relationship. So so that was something that I developed, and it's running, and we've been getting really good feedback from students. So I'm really I've loved creating that program. And I sometimes open the program up so that there's also group healing with that live with me as well, but essentially it runs as a passive course that you can purchase, and all the love lessons are there. There's different healing meditations, there's lots of different practical wisdom essentially that you can apply to help you move from A to B, so you're ready for a relationship essentially.
Love that. And you can do that in your own time, online, and when you're ready, during to fit in with your kind of work hours and life.
Definitely, so you've always got it there, so it's something you can go back to as well if you want to.
Brilliant. And how does that work with the other work you do with Soul TV?
Oh yes, so I'm doing my Soul Passion TV. I haven't actually launched I'm going to launch a YouTube channel for that, because I really want to merge my my previous passions of presenting with my love of spirituality. So that's a work in progress. But I'm also working with Awoken TV as one of their live hosts. So we're doing lots of Facebook live shows. So I'm doing one every other Wednesday, 8 o'clock in the UK, or on their Awoken TV Facebook page. I'm doing that. And I will be doing my own shows for them in the actual platform. So it's a bit like a spiritual type of Netflix, but I also have courses. So so I'm doing that. And then I just and lots of different things are sort of opening up really. So it's quite exciting.
So what's next for Hayley?
I'm going to be doing a radio show as well for Serenity Radio. So that will be cool. Amazing. And then I don't know, I'd like to do a membership community, so develop a healing membership community at some point. So that'll probably be next year, I would think. And so it'd be like a group, group membership essentially. And so it'd be focused on heart healing, but also spiritual development. And more TV, more spiritual TV work essentially. So and then more arts as well. So they're the sort of those sort of things, and I'm sure other things will open up, but
And I love how they're all coming together at the time. Probably when you do this, it's all probably I'll do this, and now it all blends and works beautifully in harmony.
Yeah, it's quite remarkable.
It's amazing how, yeah, that's how, you know, life can be sometimes. Do you have any final words of wisdom that you'd like to share with listeners and viewers?
Yeah, so like we mentioned at the beginning, you are a light being. You are much more magnificent than you might consider yourself. And just I want people to really recognise that whatever challenge they're going through, it's not insurmountable. They can overcome it. And, you know, do not give up hope, especially if you're looking for a relationship. There, you know, you have what it takes to overcome these challenges in life. They're not meant to be complete blocks that we're not able to get over. So, you know, I just want people to really take that away, that they are powerful and they do have the ability to move forwards, whatever challenges they're facing.
Thank you. That's, yeah, beautiful, really lovely reminder that yes, we are powerful. Where can people find you on your maybe your website, your Instagram page, or your Facebook page?
Yeah, so I'm getting a new website, which will be hayleyfelton.com. But my current website is the .co.uk website, but it will soon be hayleyfelton.com. And yeah, so that's really the main place to find me. Otherwise, the Awoken TV Facebook page and Soul Passion with Hayley Felton Facebook page. And I think I'm Hayley S. Felton on Instagram.
Can you hear the thunder? I don't know.
Oh no, I can't.
Oh my goodness, it's just as you were speaking.
Really loud.
Just started the rain has started to come. Thank goodness, because it's been so hot.
Yeah, oh my God.
So we've got thunder and lightning going.
I'm so happy.
But I'll put all your details, your Soul Passion TV, your Awoken TV Facebook page, Hayley Instagram, and your .co.uk page as well on the notes of the podcast and YouTube video. So thank you. Would you be happy now to lead us into a 5-minute guided Atlantean healing meditation?
Yeah, I'd love to. Yeah, thanks for asking, Tuğçe.
Thank you.
Okay, guys. So, this is, by the way, if you're, you know, you just need to make sure you're sitting somewhere. So, if you're driving, I don't recommend doing this when you're driving. So maybe
that's a good point.
Yeah. So, really, if you're listening on the move, so just re-listen to this part when you are, you know, you've got a few moments to yourself, 5 minutes to yourself, where you're not going to be disturbed. And yeah, if you are sitting down, if you can just make sure you've got your feet flat on the floor, if possible. And it's nice to be in a nice upright position. But if you'd rather lay down, that's absolutely fine as well. We'll just set the intention that the healing is happening for your highest good and grace today. Whether, you know, whatever point in time you're listening to this. Okay, so I just invite you now to close your eyes. And just take a nice deep breath in and out. Another deep breath in and out. And one more really deep breath in and out. And just continuing to focus on your breath, the gentle rise and fall of your chest. And just knowing that as you listen to my words, you're in the perfect place at the perfect moment. And any healing that will take place will be for your highest good and grace. I'm setting the intention to use the Atlantean healing energy for the highest good and grace of all, regardless of the time of when you are listening to this meditation, this healing meditation. We're just focusing now at the top of your head on your crown chakra. And just allowing the Atlantean healing energy to flow through this energy center, balancing this area, connecting you more fully to your intuition, your connection to your higher self and soul. And you may feel a slight tingling or warmth or temperature change, or you may simply feel relaxed. Whatever you experience is perfect for you right now. Now focusing on our third eye in the center of our forehead. You might want to imagine that there's a beautiful purple or lilac grey in this area, balancing this energy center, connecting to your inner wisdom. Connecting to your own psychic abilities, knowing that it's safe to do so at the time, when the time is right for you. And moving our attention now to our throat chakra. And you might want to imagine a beautiful blue healing light emanating through your throat from the front all the way to the back. Knowing that it's safe to express yourself and your truth. Expressing yourself with confidence and ease. Now moving to our heart chakra in the center of our chest. You might want to imagine a beautiful green ray of light emanating through the center. Opening the heart. Allowing love to flow easily for self and others. Completely safe. And knowing that you are love at your essence. All is well. And moving down now to our solar plexus in the center of our tummies. You might just want to take a deep breath into your tummy area. Breathing in a beautiful yellow, visualizing a beautiful yellow healing energy. Balancing this energy center. Activating your willpower, your confidence. Allowing yourself to take action on your own intuitive guidance and wisdom. Knowing that it's safe to do so. And moving down now to our root, our sacral chakra. And that's in between our hips and our genital area. You might want to imagine there's a beautiful orange ray of light emanating through this energy center. Just opening yourself up to creativity, to loving relationships, and expressing the real you. allowing yourself to express your feminine and male traits, the feminine and masculine within you. Knowing that wherever we fit on that spectrum of being a male or a female, or anywhere in between, just know it's perfectly safe to express the real you. Just allowing that healing energy to continue through the sacral chakra, allowing this area to balance beautifully. It's safe to ask for what we want and for our desires to be met. Whether we're already in a relationship or embarking on a new one, or simply those needs for ourselves. And moving down now to our root chakra or base chakra that sits at the base of our spine. You may want to imagine a beautiful red healing energy, beautiful red healing ruby red light extending all the way from the front to the back, stepping into your personal safety and security. Knowing it's completely safe to connect to the wisdom of your heart, the wisdom of your soul. And when we stay connected to our hearts and our soul, that's when life really opens up for us. Expressing the real us, the real you. Completely safe to do so. On our next in-breath, just focus back on our crown chakra at the top of our head. You might want to imagine that there's a beautiful white light coming down in your next in-breath from your top of your head. And as it reaches your heart chakra in the center of your chest, as you breathe out, it activates the energy in your heart, the energy of love expanding out into the world. And this love from within your heart extends around your entire being, enveloping yourself in a complete blanket of love. And knowing that this is your true essence. All is well. I'm just sitting for a few moments, just feeling the support from your own heart. Knowing you have what it takes to achieve your dreams in life and love. And counting back now from 10 to 1. when we reach 1, you'll be feeling grounded and supported with a clear outlook, a greater connection to your heart and intuition. 10, 9, still beautifully relaxed. 8, 7, completely supported. 6, 5, just pure love. 4, 3, you can always trust yourself. 2, 1, and in your own time, you can open your eyes.
That was beautiful. Thank you,
Oh,
Hayley. Really, really beautiful. I feel, yeah, very mellow and
oh good.
yeah. And I just so you know, I've had the thunder, I've had the rain, and just
Oh
hearing
my
your
goodness.
voice, and then the smells as well. That smell that comes with the rain.
That lovely earthy smell, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, that lovely earthy smell. It was just absolutely stunning, beautiful meditation. So thank you for that. I will definitely be revisiting that at some point, I think. So thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
So just have to, I guess, move around a bit to get my energy.
Yeah. Sometimes it's good to actually just sort of wiggle a bit and, put your feet on the floor and ground a little bit after
Yeah, definitely. I'm
session.
grounded, but that was
And drink
absolutely
water as well. Water is always good for after any, which I will have after this call. Yeah,
yes. I'm going to have a sip of that right now.
Yeah.
But I'm so excited for what you've got coming up for you with your YouTube channel as well, and there's so many exciting things that are coming up, and I'm going to put all your details on a post, so on the notes, so anyone can contact you and find out more about Hayley and see if there's any work that you could do together, or if you're more interested in what Hayley does. So thank you so much, Hayley.
Oh, thank you, Tuğçe. It's been amazing. I've really enjoyed it. Thanks so much for having me here.
Thank you. Sending you lots of love.
And you.